You ready, man?
All right, cool.
What's up, everyone? Josh Krieger, host of Edge of NFT, live at VCon in Indianapolis, here with Nate Alex, business from Tennessee. Great to mix it up with you and chat a little bit about what you're up to in the space, man. Why don't you kick it off by just introducing yourself and maybe talk about Chain Faces and the secret project if folks don't know some of the backstory on you.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. So yeah, I've been in the space pretty much since the beginning. Trading NFTs when there was only $1,000 a week in volume, and what people think is dead now, like when I was around there, that's when it was dead. I've was mostly a collector, just a collector for a couple years until I just really wanted to start making my own stuff. And that started in early 2020. Made 2 projects in 2020 that were popular for the small crowds that existed at the time.
That was
a few hundred people.
That was still a very early time. I mean, things didn't really pick up till what, like late 2020 with NBA
Late
Top
2020,
Shots.
yeah. Top Shot really was kind of, I think, the catalyst for bringing a lot of new people in. I launched another project early 2022 that was called Chainface Arena, which was kind of maybe my most well-known project of the ones that I've made. And the basic idea was your NFTs could die in this arena game, and then to make it a little juicier, we put a few $1 million in the arena, and the longer you survived in the arena, the more money you could pull out from the arena. Oh, and also the longer you survived in there, your art piece would dynamically update with more scars because it earned them in the arena.
So like the inspiration for this, I mean, besides just being a really cool idea, I mean, you're into Gladiator, you played video games, like it makes sense to me, right? Like I just played a little bit of NBA 2K the other day, and you're throwing, you're trying to dunk the ball, you choose these cards, you get more and more prizes, but you could also die, and of course, like I was more likely to die because I want to earn the more prizes. It gets to a real, I guess, like primitive instinct in people, right? Like, where did it come from?
So I remember telling a couple people about the idea, and they're like, "You can't do that. You can't just kill people's NFTs if they're going to buy them from you." I was like, "Yeah, I can." And I guess the idea was really more. It was very on the nose. So I think actually it would be super relevant in like a time like this of like shitcoining, where things is very like PvP. Things are very. Some people are going to make a lot of money. Some people are going to lose money. Some people are going to get nothing, and some people are going to make a little bit. And the arena was a proportional payout. So basically, it started. There were a few $1 million in the pot, and there were like 17,000 NFTs that entered, and some of them didn't enter because they didn't want to risk dying. Every day, random NFTs were dying, so the amount of people left in the arena shrinks. Well, now your proportional share of the pool is larger. You could leave at any time, and you could take your small bounty now, or you could wait for more people to die.
Can you come back in, or once you're out, you're out?
Yeah, once you left, you're gone. You threw in the towel, and we called you a coward, and moved on. And it was so just constant. It lasted about a month, and just constant. Every day, people pulling out money. The person who survived the longest, more than anybody, pulled out like 170,000 or something. And the person before that for like 80,000.
And was there money left? I mean, where did the money?
No, it all proportionally paid out over the course of a month. So the people, the early day cowards were leaving with $30, $50 or whatever. The people who stayed the longest and who took the risk of surviving the longest, it was just kind of, I guess the idea was sort of like a microcosm of the crypto degenerate space of like people making a lot of money, people making a little money, people losing money, people losing everything, and that was kind of the whole showcase of the design. It was supposed to be kind of like an artistic commentary on all of that, I guess.
Cool. Well, it's fascinating to me. I'm sure the winner went on to sign a UFC contract and is doing their thing now. But like, fast forward to today, right? I noticed one of your recent Twitter posts talking about this dichotomy between tech-heavy projects that don't have an audience and marketing-heavy projects that don't have tech. this is not new. I've been in the space since 2017, and it feels like a little bit of deja vu in that sense. I mean, we try to feature on the show the projects that have both, and there are some of those too that are worth acknowledging. But why is that? Is that what is the sort of behind that? Do you think is it the Wild West nature of the origins of the crypto industry, or do you think this is like a common trend in any emerging technology?
Yeah, I think it is a common trend. I mean, I think when people like something, it makes more people like it, and that makes more people like it, and it just is a giant snowball. You can build the most deeply technical thing, the best thing to ever be built. Nobody knows about it. It doesn't matter. It's insignificant. And it is hard to balance that. You have two types of people that are great salesmen, and you have great technical engineers and experts in that field, and they rarely collide. And that, I mean, for me, I'm decent at both. I'm not the best at either of them, but I think a lot of people, they just don't, the people I know who are the best technical experts, they got 100 followers on Twitter. The people who have 200,000 followers on Twitter, they don't know shit about reading ether scans. So there's a big, and also Twitter, it favors people who have a lot of attention, who have a lot of clout. If you have 200,000 followers now, when the space blows up again, you're going to grow disproportionately compared to somebody with 100 followers who is the greatest technical expert in the space. And some of that is algo driven. Some of it's just attentions. People who are great marketers are great at growing their brands. And if a lot of people know of something, there's not enough supply. It creates this appearance of, hey, there's a supply-demand mismatch here. That's a great investment. Versus the greatest technical person has 100 followers. They built something super cool. If you're going to buy it, well, I'm never going to make any money on this. I'm just supporting them. They're not going to sell out 10,000. They only got 100 followers, kind of thing.
So I feel like a lot of the degen movement or side of crypto are smart people that really see the world two different ways at the same time. One with hope and optimism, and the second with pragmatism and just humor. And I sort of want to look into the future of the space with both perspectives and get your thoughts. Like, a year from now, what is your hopeful and optimistic perspective on where we'll be?
Let's see. I would say, first off, it's going to be like the same people who are here today. It's just going to be us until there becomes the snowball effect. There becomes kind of the media push. There becomes Bitcoin going to $50,000 and things that attract outside money into the space. And
is that a year from now with the halvening coming up?
I hate to make hard predictions, of course, but the halving, it's been a very consistent cycle. It's always been sort of the smoking gun at the start of the race. Everybody goes, it's time to bag hold and play this game hot potato again. So yeah, I kind of expect that to be, it doesn't happen immediately. The halving happens, and it's not like the price goes 10x, but people start to go, oh shit, we're about to start this again. And, as a whole, they generally are more holding than, or buying than selling. And that creates the right market dynamics to start getting the price going in the right direction, to start getting media talking about it.
There's been a lot, we're still in the hopeful, optimistic perspective. We'll get to this sort of other side, but there's been a lot of, technology built over the last cycle to sort of support mass adoption, right? It's not like you can't buy things with your credit card now. You can. It's not like you can't onboard with an email link. You can. Pre-mint was just on our show and has all sorts of cool ways that you can sort of authenticate without connecting your wallet, and so that's going to reduce hacks. Does that give you additional sort of optimism in terms of how easy it will be to onboard sort of towards the next bull market, or are we going to face some more challenges and sort of confusion from the masses?
A little bit of both, I guess. They're definitely going to be, confusion won't just go away. The UX is still really terrible. people will dive in and dig in and figure it out if they think they're going to get rich. I mean, that's if people, they hear about their one friend who dabbled and turned their $1,000 portfolio into 10,000, they become it's sort of like a multi-level marketing thing at that point.
But where does the purity of art and like the type of art that you've created fit into it?
It naturally just becomes a thing. So I think of, like, let's say punks. People talked about utility. They talked about what the founders were doing and what companies they're going to build and all this bullshit, really. And I look at punks. I look at like Larva Labs founders. They never promised anything. Nobody who buys punks is like, where's the utility in like punk? Or nobody buys autoglyphs, thinks that it is a piece of art history. There is a sort of a historical art narrative that's underlying here, that some projects that kind of get that, cater to that, build the right stories, will be something 50 years from now. It's one of the things, it's like Chainface is, not that it necessarily will be one, but one of the designs is that everything is 100% on Ethereum. There's no server, there's no IPFS, nothing.
So sort of like what people sort of refer to as immutability with ordinals.
Exactly. And for me, it was really interesting to think about Chainfaces will be here when I'm dead. If Ethereum is still here, still be here. It will be here in 1,000 years. Like, when you're trying to build something that is art or that is sustainable, you don't want it to be, oh, well, if this company goes under, they're just going to quit paying their servers and the art is gone. Like, that's, to me, it's not art. But it's a long process. It didn't happen overnight. There's a lot of brands that really legitimately just think, I made angry aardvarks and they pumped to 2 ETH and it's cool. And it's not cool and nobody's going to give a shit in 2 years. But it takes time for people to learn and figure that out. I know that because I've been around since the beginning. I've seen the kind of projects that caught the attention when Mania and media was talking about them. So it just, depression cycles, a few projects that are cool. Mania cycles, a few projects blow up. A lot of projects that don't deserve to blow up. And then back to the depression cycle and a few stragglers stick along. And it just, over time, though, the trend is up. More and more people are going to participate in this economy. More and more cool art projects will be made. More and more cool use cases will be made.
As a creator who's had some success in space and been around and who is critical of the projects that are let's say, more empty, do you feel more pressure as you're sort of thinking about what you want to do next to do things that truly are at the edge in both sort of utility and artistic value?
Yeah, it's actually been pretty challenging for me to release something new. I built a project in the fall of last year. I hired 6 artists, spent about $200,000 just getting all the pieces going. Wrote a lot of smart contract code, and then just didn't get to the level that I felt like this is ready for my audience kind of thing, and then just had to just take it on the chin and scrap it. And then I built another project this year. The same, didn't cost me a lot of money, but work went into it, time went into it, and scrapped it as well. So I still am looking to make something that I think can be impactful and be interesting and be cool, and hopefully show people like it's not just a picture on a token. It's not just this hot potato game. That is an element. It's a big element. There's a lot of money to be made in that. It's fun. It's cool. Whatever. But that's such a small piece of what this is going to be. And I want to be part of what it is going to be, but early before most people get it and understand it. Even as like an NFT investor, I've been known for like buying NFTs in six-figure range that have not done well, me getting caught up in the hype and losing a lot of money, and I just make fun of it, make fun of myself on Twitter too, and realize the insanity of all of this. But I do know that this will just continue. I do know that like some things will be not the Mona Lisa, but the same, the digital equivalent of that kind of stuff. That stuff will happen within this space.
Cool. Well, definitely makes me enthusiastically curious about what's next for you. So we're at VCon. Ariana Huffington was just talking about sort of her recipe for a happy life, which includes managing stress. We're in an industry that, there's no shortage of ups and downs and stress, and you've been through it. What's been your stress coping approach, and how has that sort of evolved over time? And any insights there that you could share with folks that are like, wow, this industry is heavy.
Yeah, it is deeply heavy. I mean, I had 2022 major drawdown, like millions of dollars, and a lot of self-reflection of this, and going, thinking, I'm just gonna keep making more and more money. I'm set for life, kind of thing, and then being like, oh shit, it's fleeting more than people realize, and you can lose that stuff. And the stress is super high for me. Coping is one thing that I think you get kind of drawn into the day-to-day of crypto. I need to be on Twitter every day. I need to keep up with every single thing that's happening every day, or I'm going to miss that opportunity to invest in Pepe and make $1 million with $30. That's not true. First off, you're not going to hit that lottery realistically. Most of that's insider. There's a lot of other shit going on. But also, when you need a break, when you're overwhelmed, you don't need to spend 24/7 in this space. For me, most of the biggest, most impactful things, they happen and burst, and then nothing happens most of the time. So, you just have to try to find that balance. You got to not get completely lost in this whole crazy digital casino, I guess.
What do you do to chill out? What's your, when you feel adrenaline's pumping a little too high from the industry? Any recommendations that we can share with our listeners?
I like sports. I like pickleball, tennis,
nice.
Golf.
I'm in Venice, so anytime, let's do it.
Okay.
Pickleball is really big over on the
I'm not
side.
good, but it's fun,
And somehow the Web3 community has gotten pretty into pickleball.
Right.
From what
Yeah.
I can tell.
Yeah. I know that they have the thing going on here.
Yeah.
It's blowing up. It's more popular in my city too. And I don't know. For me, it's just
get outside.
Yeah, touch grass.
Yeah. Get outside.
That's the thing.
Cool. Anything sort of on your roadmap that you wanted to sort of point folks towards?
I don't have anything particularly hard set in stone that will necessarily come out this year. For me, I've got a number of things that are close, that maybe with redesigns or tweaks or revisiting them and thinking through them again. I definitely want to make something, push something out that I think is cool. Just because I hate to say that, the vast majority of the space just thinks about everything all wrong. I think when Chain-Based Arena launched, there were absolutely people who went, I didn't even know you could do that with an NFT. Not that the impact was really long lasting. Not a lot of people tried. There were a few clones and wannabe revamps, but nothing as big. And so, I guess to answer the question, I don't have anything definitely coming in the short term, but I absolutely intend on making something cool and publicly sharing it and hoping that it can get us on a different trajectory and in the nearest future, I guess.
Nice, man. Well, thanks for spending a little time with us, and folks can check you out on Twitter at Nate Alex, right?
Nate Alex NFT.
Nate Alex NFT on Twitter, and keep up with your ventures and commentary. So I appreciate you hanging out.
Cool, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that was cool. I haven't done an interview like that.
The views and opinions expressed on Edge of NFT reflect solely those views and opinions of the show hosts and its guests. Please make sure to do your own research. Our show is not financial advice. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk. Whenever making financial decisions, we recommend doing your own research and talking to your accountant for financial advice. From time to time, we may feature sponsored content on the show for which we receive value, and we may share links for which we receive a commission if you make a purchase through one of those links. Refer to our website, www.edgeofnft.com, for our full disclaimer, terms and conditions, and privacy policy.